Welcome to Animation Technically, and today I'm going through this guy, and I cannot remember his name, but I like to call him Behemoth because I actually got to do the initial concept for this character, and so this is actually something that I've had a hand in designing and making, and was my idea. And I do love Final Fantasy, and the idea was based around Behemoths, but the traditional kind, the Behemoth, the King of Beasts. So in his design there's a lot of regal aspects, so obviously he's a king, there's lots of gold, there's lots of strong armour, this looks like it could be royal armour, but there's lots of beastly aspects to it as well. There's lots of sharp edges and point stuff that isn't traditionally great, the bits of chains, and obviously it's a void class character in the game Dawn of Titans, so there's lots of corruption to the armour as well. You know, lots of beastly aspects. He may be a king, but he's a king of monsters. The staff as well was different from its original concept because the class of the character changed mid-concept as well. So I duplicated the head of this staff that was originally more of a quarter scarf with a toothpick edge, and I pulled the skull down here and deleted some extra bits to make it a big staff so it could fit on the large staff Ragnar network, which is what I originally encompassed the character being animation wise. So let's take a look at the joints as well. As you can see, there they are. So obviously you've got the core skeleton, which every class, every character uses. So the original skeleton wasn't mine in this case, but I did make some changes. The clavicles are more centralized here, and I have additional bones added for obviously dynamics as well that I have animated in here. As you can see them flapping around, but we also have dynamics in game as well for a completely different result. Plus the whole idea of this character for this video in particular was to test retargeting. So here we have some motion capture done on the original skeleton for Dawn of Titans, which you can see clavicles there, which does actually mean you have to line some stuff up afterwards. You can see there are issues with areas where the hands do not line up perfectly because retargeting is based on rotation. That's not the end of the world, and it's easy to fix when you do the cleanup, but I just wanted to make sure I could get it working. One of the funnier things of using motion capture actually is because everything is baked per frame. While this all looks like normal movement, what you're not seeing between every frame is sometimes crazy rotations as well that tend to happen, which means when you're trying to do nice renders like I do at the start of these videos, you can get some very odd glitches which motion capture will bring up because it uses data from in between frames to do that motion capture movement. So if you see right here, there's a lot of stuff going wrong, which is all part of the learning process as well, and it was all good to just work out. It's not the first time it's happened to me, and I should have been more mindful of it, but this is what happens from using motion capture data. Things go wrong. So what can I tell you about this you don't already know from seeing it? It's using AdvancedSkeleton because of course it is. The same with the dynamics, they're generated using AdvancedSkeleton to make this much easier and less time consuming as well. I don't like the original control rig that was made for dock characters, and I get to use this and I'm happy about it. And you can obviously bake it all down to this as well, but everything about here is custom. The face is something that I want to pick up on other videos as well, because we have our Egyptian characters too that all have animal heads that are all done differently. They all have different skinning based on the same facial rig, which means the skinning isn't optimal, but it is additive in that the facial animation is put on the character after the rest of the animation is. So wherever the joints are in the face, the animation works, so everything gets redistributed to give the best effect possible. So as you can see in game, the animations line up and you can get to see expressions on the face still that are very much made from, or made for, human characters. As you can see, a few liberties were taken obviously here as well. It's a horse link design, but we're still using standard bipedal legs as well. It's something I would have liked to have done for the character. In Unreal I could make it work, but there are limitations with what I could do for this, so this is what we've ended up doing. Having said that, I think I could have probably done this in Unreal still, in Maya still as well, but yeah, it's just a little deep dive into this character for my retargeting test, but I I designed this character, so I really like it, and I will do something on my ArtStation one day for it. And if you're curious about retargeting, motion capture, facial capture, any of that kind of stuff, I can do a tutorial covering the setup for everything as well, if you'd like to see it. But this is the character. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is the game character, not the one you see in the shop. So I have no finger joints here as well, hence another reason why the fingers don't always line up. We have the capture data for the fingers. It's just not on this version of the model, which is the game version, where we have less joints to make it cheaper overall to have in game. So there you go. Right, yeah, that's my Behemoth.